So I like that you talked about experience, because that brings us to our final topic of the night. What is the biggest issue that needs to be fixed with Utah? I'm going to jump on this first because I want to talk about experience, because that's what I think is one of the things that'll help fix these issues is experience. These young guns are learning from their mistakes, and we won't be in this position next year or the year after that. Like, yes, this is a growing, like, there's going to be growth spurts. There's going to be good games and there's going to be bad games and there's going to be everything in the middle. And we already saw a jump from game 1 against USC to game 2 against Washington. What is this team going to look like next year when you have UCLA at home, or you're on the road in the Coliseum versus USC? How is this team going to look? I think that there's still going to be mistakes that are going to be made last year, but I don't think they're going to be as common as they are right now. I think the only thing that needs to be fixed, like, right now, this is not going to go on to the players. This is going to go on to the coaching staff. Is they need to work on, keep doing what is working. Keep doing what is working. You last week against USC, you gave up on Ty early on, and it didn't end well. This week, you guys gave Ty more time, and it showed it. Like, he was able to do stuff, but you kind of gave up on a little bit of, like, your offensive, on your pass game and stuff like that. And then on the defensive side versus USC, you went from playing zone coverage, which you guys were really good at locking down USC receivers on that, and you switch to man and you get beat. And this week, you cut back on the blitzes. You go soft, not soft, but you take your foot off the gas, and you're not playing that true hard-nosed Utah defense that we're used to seeing. And you can't blame the players for this. The players are just doing the plays that their coaches are telling them to do. Right. And I think, I don't know if it's the coaches not believing in this young team or what it is, but it needs to be fixed, because we saw in this first half of this Utah game what they're capable of doing. And then when the second half came, it was the polar opposite team that we saw.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing that I think really applies to freshmen and sophomores, especially in college football, is they don't have that experience that makes them really special. You know, those freshmen and sophomores, they're just regurgitating what the coaching staff is telling them to do. They're like robots, right? Which can be good. You know, in a WIT and a Scally system, that's not a bad thing. It's not. It's not a bad way to play, because they're going to tell you the right thing to do. However, as you get into that junior and senior year, because of the experience, they're then able to make reads, and really good reads, and base their decision making off of their own experience, and make really big time plays, and combine that with what the coaching staff is telling them to do. And so I think at this point in the season, you know, are we 4 weeks in now, Sammy?
We're technically 3 games in, but I think overall the conference is heading into week 5. I don't know. I'm just counting on how many games we've played, and right now we've played 2.
Right. So technically that was week 4, and we're coming into week 5, correct?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah.
So there's technically 2 games left.
There's 2 scheduled games, and then there's that final week, which is a weird round robin, weird pairing up thing. I don't know.
Right. So Utah, you're sitting at 0-2. The coaching staff at this point, this season is you're not in the running for the Pac-12 South.
You're not going to go to a bowl game probably either.
Well, I think everybody qualifies, but you're not going to go to a very good bowl game.
Oh, not in the Pac-12. Larry Scott put in that stipulation that teams must finish above 500 to make a bowl game this year.
Wonderful. Okay. Anyways, so then at this point, it should just be experimentation. It should be, trying different things in practice, and just giving these kids as much experience. Even if, let's say, Clark Phillips has a bad game, keep him in the game. Let him continue to get experience and learn from those mistakes. Not that I'm saying they would pull him, but just it's kind of a throwaway season. It's getting to that point, especially I don't know how Utah is favored to beat Oregon State after what they just did to the Ducks.
I don't know either, but I'm just here for the ride at this
Right,
point.
but if you drop to 0-3, give Ty Jordan 20 attempts in the backfield, keep these freshmen out there on the defensive end, because experience is the only thing that's going to help you moving to next season. But Sammy, there are quite a few things.
Wait, sorry. Can I add one thing before
you go ahead?
Yours?
Go ahead.
You're talking about experience like juniors and seniors. I think it also benefits these guys a lot that like this is not like the NFL where like your schedule kind of rotates a lot and like you don't know who's gonna what teams you're gonna play every single year except for the members of your division.
Right.
Utah knows that they're gonna play USC, UCLA, Arizona, Arizona State, and Colorado every single year. They know that. You learn things about these guys on these teams because you play them every single year.
Right.
And because most of them will stay all 4 years. There's the exception like a Jalen Johnson who decides to go to the NFL or like anyone else who declares as a junior. Mm-hmm. But most of these guys, you're going to play 4 years against them. Maybe 3 if they don't play as a freshman. But you're going to learn how these guys play. And it's something that you can just file into the back of your head and keep for the next year. It's not like the NFL where I'm not saying that this happens in the NFL, but like the Buccaneers played the Chiefs today. Are the Bucs going to play the Chiefs next year? I don't know. We don't know because that's how the NFL schedules work. So they're able to, like, Clark Phillips can know, okay, so if I line up against this wide receiver from USC next year, this is what I need to do. Right. You can file that information into your head.
Absolutely.
So that's a little tangent.
Oh, you're good.
So you can now go off.
You're good. You're good. So my take on what needs to change is surprisingly, the biggest issue thus far has been the offense.
Which we didn't think was going to be the issue. We thought it was going to be the defense was going to be the issue.
9 turnovers in the last 2 games. I think it took last year's team like 10 games to get to 9 turnovers. Bentley has 4 interceptions in his first 2 games as a Utah quarterback, which that took Huntley all of last season to do.
And he played more games.
And there are times like what's frustrating though is there are times like the first half where Bentley looks fully capable to run the offense. Last night he was great with his legs, made pretty good decisions, and threw for a touchdown. The second half, he comes out, struggles to complete a dang thing, throws a terrible interception, which I believe Washington then turned into a score. And he just completely ignores the best receivers on the team. And so as we look into that, Keithy had 4 receptions for 23 yards.
But isn't that more than he had against USC too?
I believe so, but not.
So it's like we're getting up there. We're getting there.
I think he had 20. I think he had 18 or 21 against USC.
Okay, so it's not that much more. Never mind.
Give my guy he needs to be hit at least double that, and I'm hoping that he's producing at least 50 to 75 yards. Like that's a minimum.
But BT did look pretty good.
Yes, he did. Good. He did. But everybody else really didn't. I mean, going back to Keithy, this is the best tight end in the state, and he's only getting the ball 4 times. He should have been targeted how Washington was targeting their tight end.
Yeah.
And Keithy, there was one play in particular last night, and Sammy, we were talking about it.
Oh my God.
Keithy was wide open. I think it was a 3rd down.
It was a 3rd down. It was like a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6.
And instead of passing to him, Bentley throws into double coverage, and the Utes ended up punting.
Also, Keithy was like 3 or 4 yards past the sticks, if I'm remembering correctly. So you get the first down plus some more yardage.
Yep.
Like Bentley needs to go through his progressions better, and I think he needs to think a little bit more because he needs to like let things play out. Because yes, Keithy was double teamed, but he wasn't double teamed as much as he was against USC.
That's because they weren't throwing the freaking ball his way. So Washington's like, I'm not going to worry about him. So,
and like that's the thing is like I think Utah, like I'm not saying Utah needs to like on their first play from offense like go 65 yards down the field to Keithy. No, like surprise them with a Keithy attack. Exactly. Like don't just like shove Keithy down their throat because then they're going to start double teaming him.
Right. Well, we have enough guys that we don't have to do that. We have 3 really great tight ends. We have 4 other really great receivers, and one of them Covey didn't have a single reception last night. I think he was targeted one time, and that time turned into an interception as Bentley severely underthrew him. Like you were mentioning, Thompson, Ennis are good, but I just think Keithy and Covey should be the guys that you are marching down the field with, especially because, like I mentioned earlier, that was Covey's role in 2018. The guy had over 600 yards, not a single touchdown, but look at what Utah did in 2018. And just, my last little thought here. I know that I was on that Bentley train leading up to the season. And to my defense,
you were the captain of the Bentley train.
I think that you should expect an SEC quarterback transfer who put up really good numbers his first 2 seasons to be a really good quarterback in the Pac-12, especially with the arsenal of wide receivers that he has. Now, I understand that he wasn't supposed to be the starting guy, so the chemistry isn't necessarily there. But let me just say this. The first half is why I was on that Bentley train. The second half makes me want to hold up pictures of Huntley and cry myself to sleep at night, remembering how good we had it.
And with that, we will wrap things up. That was a lovely picture that you put in my mind. But before we head out, we just wanted to remind you guys that we are writing columns now through Sports Pac-12. You can hit them up on Twitter at SportsPac12 and also check out their website at sportspac12.com. While you're on your computer, check out our website, dashsports.tv. Make sure you're also following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at dashsportstv. We're going to see how this week goes against Oregon State. I don't know. 9 points seems generous, but we'll see how this goes. So, as always, Cole, do you want to send the good folks out with the lovely Go Utes?
I will. Go Utes, guys.